Empire, good. Anyone else? Johnny?
Colosseum.
Colosseum, good.
Trojan Wars.
Trojan Wars, good. Nolan. What else? Wars, good. Alright, we're going to rock and roll through this. First one. We're going to talk about sculpture in general. Go ahead and write that down. It's just the Romans, their Roman sculptures. A lot of times when people look at marble sculptures, they think, oh, it must be Greek or Roman. But they're not sure which ones made what. They just know that they look like they're Greek or Roman sculptures. I'm going to tell you the major difference here. When it comes to sculptures, yes, they are mostly made out of marble. We talked about the Greeks, how they wanted to be perfect. They were trying to find the perfect bodily proportions. As well as, for the most part, they were gods or goddesses. The Romans, not necessarily at all. They really were about real people. And real, mostly influential people or royalty. If we look here, this is actually a real person, a real female. Immaculate job on the hair. I mean, just to carve that, even drill holes in this. This is a real person. This guy right here, this is a sculpture. This is of a Roman emperor. Is this perfect? Oh yeah, he's old, he's been through a lot. Yeah, a lot. They wanted all the imperfections. They wanted something real, real people. Whereas the Greeks were about gods and goddesses, Romans were about real people. That's going to be a kind of a big difference between these two. But Roman emperor, you can tell he's been worn down. Question I had about this, and we'll talk more about this during the Renaissance, but people ask, is that how they looked back then? Why didn't they carve out the eyes? They actually painted these. But for the longest time, people didn't realize that. When Rome was sacked, okay, a lot of things went into ruins, a lot of things just disappeared. For about 1,000 years, people really didn't pay attention or care about this stuff. And when they started rediscovering the stuff during the Renaissance, they found all these sculptures just plain white. So they thought, oh, they just carved them and left them white. So during the Renaissance era, which we'll get to, they carved theirs white and left them white. But in reality, they came to find out hundreds of years even after that, that these were actually painted. They painted the eyeballs on them, they painted the skin, they painted the hair. Just over 1,000 years, paint's going to be gone. Kind of, most people don't realize that. Yes, these were painted. Sometimes they would even have jewels in the eyes as kind of the iris part. So that's sculpture, real people. Second one I'd like you to write down, Roman aqueducts. Roman aqueducts. So we have the Roman aqueducts. Built by the Romans, nearly 500 miles, brick and concrete. Ooh, this is something I really need to touch base on. One of the major inventions during the Roman times, and I forgot to mention this to the other classes that I need to tomorrow, is the invention of concrete. You might want to underline that, circle it. It is a massive invention. It allowed them to go way bigger than the Greeks. So they are allowed to build these huge structures using the Roman arch and concrete. A lot of the things today we build with concrete because it's still an important invention. But with this, they have large arches. What the Roman aqueducts did, they carried fresh water to the city. Now let me set the scene for you guys a little bit. Before the Romans, all these other civilizations we've talked about, these big cities. Imagine 25 of us here living in a space about the size of this room. That's probably pretty accurate. With a couple walls and everything like that. Now, also imagine, there is no running water in that city. So when you guys poop and pee every single day, you set it outside. Or in one of the little cubby areas in your room. Also imagine, you don't have running, flowing water to bathe yourself every single day. You might be lucky enough to bathe every month, every one of us. So imagine that room, and imagine the whole city like it a clean place?
Smell like Milwaukee.
No. Cities were disgusting. Like, disgusting. Everyone smelled horrible. Right? Then we had the Romans. They realized, okay, we built these aqueducts. We can have fresh flowing water into the city, and it pushes itself by gravity. We can build these sewer systems. They're the first to have a sewer system, all built underneath the city. They actually built baths, big, huge public baths where everyone would go to bathe every single day. This is the first time we see a civilization rise up out of this kind of stinky mess and really develop a city the way it's supposed to. When I lived in Rome and studied there, my other college friends, they were city planners, and they absolutely studied Rome to a T. How did the first great civilization with a city build this? And so they really studied everything to it. Pretty impressive that these are still running. When you go to Rome, there's still free-flowing fountains of water just continuously flowing from these Roman aqueducts. If you ever travel, they usually say, never drink the water outside the United States. Never drink the water, because your body isn't used to the bacteria. It's not the most healthy. People growing up there, that's fine because they're used to it. Never drink water, except if you go to Rome. Inside the city limits of Rome, absolutely drink water. If you ever go there, drink the water fountains. I had a student who traveled there, Quinn Hansen-Pollack. He went and studied abroad there, and he took a picture of the fountain and said he drank from the fountain water from Rome, which is, that's kind of a cool thing. I used my first year, one of my first year students. But very much so. If you ever go there, drink water. Outside the city of Rome, absolutely not. Don't do it. They don't maintain it. But Roman aqueducts were huge on bringing fresh water to the city. Next one, last one for today, the Capitoline Wolf. Capitoline Wolf. Made out of bronze. We're not sure who exactly made this, so it is just a Roman. Does anyone know the story of this? Does anyone know the story of how Rome was built? No? This is the, yes. Not sure, so it's just a Roman. So, this is the story of how Rome started. What the legend is that these two boys were abandoned by a river, Romulus and Remus, and a she-wolf found them and decided to raise them. So these two boys were raised by a wolf. What happened was, when they grew up, eventually one killed the other. Romulus won, and that's why the city of Rome is named Rome. Actually, to be honest, the United States is the only place that calls Rome Rome. It's not called Rome, it's called Roma. It's kind of crazy to think. We all think Rome has to be Rome. No, only the United States calls it Rome. Everywhere else in the world calls it Roma. But this sculpture tells that story. This is actually the symbol of Rome too. We're going to see this a couple times throughout different paintings when we get to the Renaissance era and other eras. So I'm showing you this. The one shirt I have from Rome has this symbol on the front of it. Symbolizes also the strength of Rome. Kind of their attitudes about who they are. That's why they conquered. They were raised by a she-wolf. Our ancestors were raised by a she-wolf. So it kind of gives that mentality as well. Tomorrow, we're going to touch base on the Colosseum. Okay? But you definitely need to know that concrete was a major invention. That's a huge thing you need to know about the Romans. Talk more about that tomorrow. All right, here's what we're going to do. Today, I'm going to call you guys up one by one to the whiteboard. It's just going to be you and me talking over what you're doing good, what might need to tweak. Okay? The rest of the time, you guys are going to be drawing. Please focus. Don't let one table